A Manchester United transfer shift simply because of the impacts of new goalkeeper Senne Lammens. I want to talk to you about what Andy Mitten was talking about Emi Martinez and Manchester United's complete change of plan for this summer and potentially January because of Lammens. We've also got the updates on what this might impact later on next summer in Manchester United's transfer window as well. A big injury update and dilemma for Ruben Amorim to deal with before the Liverpool game. And all of your live comments in the live chat. Everybody, good morning. This is Forever United TV. I'm Adam. Welcome along to another Manchester United update show, bringing you completely up to date with everything that is going on around Manchester United, on and off the pitch, from the training ground. And this week, of course, from the international duties, who he's where, who he's playing. We'll keep you fully updated throughout the week on all of the international games, as we always do here on Forever United TV. It's a calm week for United. It feels good. It feels really positive, actually, talking about good things at the football club and what's going on behind the scenes, like we did last night with the Jimmy Thwaites story. If you haven't watched that one back, please do go and watch that. That was a look into how Manchester United have already integrated the 17-year-old into the first team training. Could we see him this season with United? Not likely to spend too much money in January on that big midfield target. Is it an opportunity? That was last night. But this morning we're talking about Senne Lammens. We've already done several pieces. I have got into detail on Senne Lammens already, as you've seen from the weekend's content. But again, it just goes to show how important it is to actually get a decent goalkeeper in. Now, the decent goalkeeper was being talked about all summer. The saga was there for everybody to see. André Onana, Altay Bayinde, the circus that was Manchester United. Are we going to get a keeper? The end of that transfer window, we brought in Senne Lammens. Why is he not starting? 3 games in, 7 goals conceded. Bang, makes his debut. Sunderland, clean sheet. United look good. Best performance under Ruben Amorim that we've seen in 50 games. The impact of that, not also that, but the fact that Senne Lammens is only 5 weeks in. His catered lifestyle, which is thrown on for players these days, put up in lavish hotels and apartments by the club where they integrate in. That life now already taking him to his first house in Manchester, already planning that, got his move, family settled in, planning on a long-term future at this football club. All of that, the complete package that Senne Lammens is, first through the training ground door, last out the training ground door. That's from sources at Manchester United. That has changed Manchester United's look on what they're going to do, because Andy Mitten, one of the most well-contacted and in-the-know journalists in and around Manchester United, and that is a definite, I can guarantee you that, by the way, with everything that he knows and everybody he knows, is how often do you get somebody who's got a fanzine getting an interview with the owner of Manchester United? Like, that shows you the reach that Andy Mitten has got. And Andy Mitten, talking last night on Talk of the Devils, was talking about how Manchester United players actually wanted Emi Martinez and pushed the club and pushed the management to try and get Emi Martinez through the door. It just goes to show and puts a little bit more scope onto the Senne Lammens deal that United made, and how important it was that they were 100% certain of Senne Lammens. I criticised the way that we handled the situation. I really thought he could have been brought in sooner, to be honest. Look, they committed to him. They was going to go and get Emi Martinez. Jadon Sancho balls that up. Did Jadon Sancho actually do Manchester United a favour here? Because 18.2 million for this goalkeeper, and yes, it is only 1 game. It could all go Pete Tong yet, but the impact that he's made and the confidence in which we played with at the back, in particular against Sunderland this weekend, was there for everybody to see. Emi Martinez to Manchester United was a big thing. We were about to make that deal happen. And now Manchester United, with talks also, Football Insider has been talking about this. I've seen 2 other accounts also talk about this. Emi Martinez is still a target for Manchester United. Well, maybe not anymore. With the likes of Radek Vitek, who is Player of the Month for last month for Bristol City, doing well in the Championship, already acclimatised, knows United, getting first-hand first-team experience there. Is United's future completely sorted in that goalkeeping department? When you look at a Vitek coming through with Senne Lammens in front of him, it pushes that story further to Manchester United that, you know what? We don't need to go out and buy another goalkeeper. We do not need to be looking to spend any more money on that goalkeeping area. We have 2 top goalkeepers. And I'm not even talking about the other goalkeepers that are on our books right now. Manchester United right now are looking, and this is how strong the goalkeeping department is. We are looking right now at Senne Lammens. He's not even a full international goalkeeper yet. Of course, he's behind the legend that is Thibaut Courtois. So his time at Belgium internationals for Martinez, Roberto Martinez, that is, on international duty, is probably limited. Look, we're not bothered. We don't care. We've got our goalkeeper in place, and that is the number one. That's for Manchester United is massive for all Man United fans. Just to have that confidence that we've got a number one goalkeeper. Then you look at Rethink, who's coming back, who, like I've said many times before, signed that new contract in the summer before moving on loan to Bristol till 2028. So that contract's already dealt with. You've got 2 goalkeepers under the age of 24 there that are having good starts to their seasons. Obviously, 1 game for Lammens, and again, I'm not getting carried away with it, but you've seen the impact. First clean sheet of the season, a comfortable performance, and if he can come and catch balls, then it's half the battle for United. As crazy and as sad as that sounds, that is the truth, and they're the facts, and that is what makes the Manchester United fan base feel a little bit more confident. So Lammens is in, Vitek is there, then you've got Heaton, then you've got Onana, then you've got Bayender. You've got 2 international goalkeepers that cannot get anywhere near Manchester United's number 1 spot because you've got 2 second choice international keepers ahead of them. What happened? Honestly, it just highlights the recruitment situation at Manchester United, where it was compared to where it is now. It really does. It's funny to look at it. And you know what? Looking back, obviously, we've been through the nightmare. We've been through all of that saga with the goalkeeping situation now. It does look like it's come to an end, but it does highlight what we were up against before. So, 2 international goalkeepers that now talks are being held with Manchester United and other clubs outside on permanent deals for both of these players. So André Onana in his time at Trabzonspor, there is already talk going around from different sources about André Onana's permanent move in the summer. That now, I mean, just on that alone, how good does that feel? Like seeing André Onana away from the club and having a capable goalkeeper in place. Manchester United acting on what needed to be acted on. That alone, for me as a United fan, gives me a ton of confidence going into the future. So, yeah, the transfer plan is, and the transfer change is, no need to go for Emi Martinez. André Onana is looking to be sold outside on a permanent deal. So too Altay Bayender. Vitek steps straight back in as a number 2 for Manchester United. Whether he will like that or not, we don't know, because he is pulling up trees at Bristol City right now and performing really well. But again, if you're coming to Manchester United, you need to have cover. Look at what every other top club has got above us in terms of goalkeepers and depth. They've all got capable goalkeepers to cover their number 1s. United are moving into a position here now where we don't ever have to talk about goalkeepers again for at least 10 years. A decade maybe's worth here of goalkeeping situations that we've had to deal with for the last 4 or 5 summers that we don't have to anymore. That's the beauty of where we're at with everything right now with Senne Lammens. But again, to have that confidence in a goalkeeper and for that goalkeeper to then impact Manchester United's thinking going forward is massive, because Emi Martinez and that story from Andy Mitten on Talk of the Devils on The Athletic is important. I think we need to talk about this. It is important because, like I said, the influence of first-team players at Manchester United has been at the forefront of every fan debate and every podcast talking about Manchester United, and column inch has been written for the last 10 years. Player power at Manchester United. So it's all right us talking as a fan base saying that the deadwood has gone, the bomb squad has gone. The influence of certain players at Manchester United needs to be put in check. It needs to be handled right. And this, I think, here comes down to recruitment. When the recruitment is right, nobody can say anything. Nobody can bitch. Nobody can moan. Nobody can actually use that player as an excuse as to why their performances are going down. Because that does happen. It happens at every level in football. So when you have got a goalkeeper that's just come in that was the pick between him and a World Cup winning goalkeeper, you could see how that would have divided opinion in the Manchester United change rooms. It's like, are you sure we are forcing Rasmus Højlund out of this football club because we didn't go and buy a Harry Kane type striker 3 seasons ago? We are doing the same thing here again with the goalkeeper. It's exactly the same scenario. You've got a cheaper striker there that is unproven in the Premier League, and you're going to get him. You've got a cheaper goalkeeper there, you're going to get him. You had Harry Kane, who we should have bought instead of Rasmus Højlund, and you had Emi Martinez that we should have bought instead of Senne Lammens. That's the outlook. That's what you look at on paper, and that's what you would say is the mistake that Manchester United are making once again. The difference between them two scenarios is 3 years worth of Manchester United and the complete evolution of what has happened at this football club. The difference from Rasmus Højlund, Harry Kane, that transfer window, to Emi Martinez, Senne Lammens, and this transfer window is a football structure and a proper recruitment team. And that is what we did not have when Rasmus was bought instead of Harry Kane. We had people at this football club that just clearly did not know what they were doing. And now we have got people at the football club that are buying players that everybody, even within the fan base and the pundits, are looking at and saying, that actually is a good buy. Even the likes of Gary Neville and all of his bitching and moaning that he's doing at the moment said that he was impressed with the signings from last summer. And then again this summer. Everybody is looking at the signings we've made and saying they are good signings. That's the difference from what we had before. And Senne Lammens, being an unknown goalkeeper, but properly recruited unknown goalkeeper, has changed the minds of not just the players, the hierarchy of this football club, and the future planning for what we're going to do in the transfer windows coming up. No more going out and trying to find another goalkeeper. No more having to spend 20 million and then maybe 15 to 20 million in wages on Emi Martinez going forward. I wanted Emi Martinez. That was my pick. But like I said, I didn't know enough about Senne Lammens. So you're trusting your football club to go out and recruit and find the next goalkeeper that could be a Thibaut Courtois, Emi Martinez, Edwin van der Sar, David De Gea, and Edison and Alisson, anything like that. A goalkeeper like that, you trust your football club. And that just instills a little bit of faith and confidence within what's going on at Manchester United within the fan base. We can now look at that and say the club made the right choice. Whereas before we just didn't know. We were going for the obvious because of mistakes we'd made in previous transfer windows that were glaring because we didn't have the right people at the club. Senne Lammens' impact, credit to Christopher Vivel, credit to Jason Wilcox for making this signing. And now looking ahead, Manchester United can really look and balance the books even better. Simple, tiny little things, like I said last night about the squad ratio rule kicking in at Manchester United in PSR terms. Imagine having Emi Martinez's wages. And again, I'm taking the loss. I'm taking the L because I'm not going to go back on what I said. I said I wanted Emi Martinez. I'm not hiding away from that one bit. I said I wanted him. But Manchester United went down a different road. And we all wanted to be we wanted it to be proven that that was the right choice. Senne Lammens' wages compared to Emi Martinez. Then you go to a PSR situation on squad ratio rule when that kicks in potentially this summer. And you look at that and that saving that Manchester United are actually making, it's mammoth compared. And you put that into every player that Manchester United have brought in under INEOS. There's not one player above 200 grand a week wages. And we're looking to play all of them players over the highest earning players at this football club right now. So you can see the transformation which is creeping in. But again, just to round up on Senne Lammens, I will come into the comment section next on this now. But the impact that he has made is again proof that the recruitment side of things at this football club is changing. It's going to take a long time. I know this, but we're already making the right moves. And now I feel, and again I know, after one game, Manchester United have got a goalkeeper potentially here for the next 10 years. And time will tell. He's got to go through some tough games. He's going to have to go through some tough times. But if you're doing the basic stuff as a goalkeeper, then this fan base will actually enjoy having you in their goal and being part of this team. Someone who's got presence And that performance at weekend showed, not just because of the saves, and you can bring up Sunderland, but he stopped Granit Xhaka's shot. He stopped the shot in the last minute in injury time, which could have made it nervous at Old Trafford. He came and claimed the balls. He eased the atmosphere at Old Trafford like we've not seen before with anyone in. Like, nobody was biting their nails in that game. Yes, we could have done better in the second half, but look, the impact is there. The presence is everything. That's what Emi Martinez had for me. But we're seeing this already, and the developments that Manchester United have got here at this football club coming through, like VTech, to back up the likes of Senne Lammens. That this, again, you're taking out the deadwood. You're taking out the past and bringing in the future. And that's what every Man United fan has wanted at this club for a very long time. Right. I've said enough there on that piece about Emi Martinez and the influence of them first team players. But now, after a performance like that, the recruitment proving to the players that they know what they're doing, confidence being instilled into the players, the staff, the hierarchy and the fan base, trying to get everybody at Manchester United on one page is the main point I'm trying to make in this opening bit of this video today. And the impact of Lammens being able to change the mindsets and how United look at the future. That's huge for this club. You may laugh at me and say, Adam, you're picking out small positives again. I like it. I think it's brilliant. I'm looking at the minor details and the small little wins that Manchester United could be making right now. Going back, and I know it sounds like I'm bringing Sir David Brailsford back into it here, but it's your little wins. It's your tiny little wins that you're getting that are going to take Man United forward. We'll see. We will see. But good signs to start with. And again, I think that we are moving in the right direction. Right, Lammens has players won a game. He has played one game, I think that's supposed to say. Should be judged at the end of the season. This is the problem with the fan base. They blow players before they even proven themselves. Again, I get that, totally get that, and this is what I expect from some fans. But this is where the fan base need convincing. It's like Cunnifunt there. Great YouTube name, by the way. Going straight in on the negative. That's fine. That's no problem at all. I choose to look at the positive. I choose to look at a goalkeeper that has done more in one game in doing the simple things than André Onana have put together in 2 years at this football club. I look at the positive from one game, and we can judge one game and say, yeah, we need to look at the negative and say, let's judge this at the end of the season and let's be this fan base that blows these players up. But I'm saying in everything that I've given context to there is United did not go out and buy the dearer player. We went and bought our cheaper option and recruited a player that isn't going to cost Manchester United a lot of money, that we're not talking about as a £47 million signing that apparently was the next best thing in Europe in André Onana. We're going down a different road. So the whole outlook isn't just about this one player. It's about the way that Manchester United are operating, which is why I went into detail there and gave a bit more context to the bigger part and the bigger picture in this story. But I get what you're saying, totally. Like, Cuddy, you're not wrong. He needs to be judged, and obviously time will tell whether or not we have got the right goalkeeper there. I'm just looking at the way that United have approached this and the impacts that someone coming in like this has had. Since when have we had this type of impact? I remember Onana being loved from the halfway line in his opening game, and everybody was like, "Oh crap, what, what's going on here?" That is what I'm talking about. Anyway. The defence will be 1,000% more confident with Lammens between the sticks. We should see a snowball effect in the team within the next 6 games. You would hope so. Look, we're going to lose games in this next group of games. We're going to lose, potentially, probably, at Liverpool. We could lose at home to Brighton. But what we're not going to do is have the same scenario we did last season, or when André Onana gifts 2 goals to Brighton to lose us the game. We're going to have a goalkeeper that does the simple things and takes out them glaring errors and gives us a better chance. So if we underperform against Brighton and we get beat, we're not looking at a goalkeeper as the scapegoat. That's what I'm looking at right now. We're going to lose. We are going to lose games. It's inevitable. If the best goalkeepers in the world in certain teams lose games, all I'm saying is let's judge Lammens for what he's doing basics-wise, that he's going to eradicate from performances that were there before for Manchester United. And that will eventually breed confidence into this Manchester United team. Adam Lammens looks very good versus Sunderland, but it's only one game. He's going to be seriously tested in the coming weeks. Hopefully, he is the one. Andy Mack, perfect response. You pretty much just reiterated everything that I've said there. But and that's exactly how United fans should be looking at this. I'm not convincing you that this is the next coming of Peter Schmeichel or Edwin van der Sar. I'm looking at the direction of this football club and what's happening right now, because the Emi Martinez story was there from Andy Mitten and the influence that these players have right now at this club. And you think about the South American players that are in this team right now, they're probably the ones that were driving forward that Emi Martinez factor. Like, you have to think that way, don't you? I'm not saying that's a definite, but you'd have to think, if Andy Mitten's saying there's players that were really pushing for moving for Emi Martinez, you'd have think it would have been the Argentinian, the Brazilian type of players, possibly. The ones that know that man and know the influence that he's got. This was a big call for Manchester United. And so far, so good. So that's what we're looking at in this one. That's what we're looking at. Right, let's get a few more comments in on this. Liam says, Gary Neville is a donut. He goes on about people creating division, then chooses to come out with a diverse comment. He's a hotel owner. Say no more. I'm not even going to get into what Gary Neville has been doing in recent days. It's not the channel or the place to focus on that, but I'm sure you've all seen Gary Neville being very opinionated on certain subjects out there in the real world as well. Not helping himself one bit, but all it does is highlight a man there that believes in his own opinion, that's not really listening to anybody else. That's how I take it anyway. Stick to football. Simple. It's easier to talk about. And you won't get as much stick for... Well, you will get stick, but not the stick you're getting right now, mate. We lost games under the great Sir Alex, the best manager to have ever walked this earth. It happens. Look, we're going to lose... I said that before, like, in losing them games, we're going to lose games because we have been beaten by better sides. That's what United need to be doing. That's going to happen. Look at Newcastle this season. Last-minute goals against Liverpool and against Arsenal at home. They should not be where they are in the league, but they are. But nobody's complaining about what Eddie Howe's doing right now and still being stuck with 2 wins so far this season. Yes, less than United and lower in the table than Manchester United. No one's moaning about Eddie Howe. So that's where we need to be. We know that we're not going to be completely bowled over by teams because we have got a steeliness about us like Newcastle. That's where we need to be. That's United's next step. So when you have a bad few games, you know and you feel inside yourself as a fan that the team is going to bounce back. That's what we need to install. And I think this is what is happening with the recruitment for Manchester United. There is a confidence coming through. More comments, please. Everybody get them in there. Super chat in from Ants. Gary Neville is a Timu Souness. Can't stand him. Thanks for the super chat, mate. He's played one game. I think we need to see a few more games before we say he's a future. However good he looked. It's from Carl. Again, more comments like that I have got no problem with at all. That's exactly how we need to be looking at this. Looking at this sensibly is how we need to be looking at this. But again, you have to cling on. You have to cling on to what Manchester United have done before and the mistakes we've made. And then you look at what Lammens has done in one game. And straight away, you feel better about yourself that your club is going forward. Because nobody was convinced. Like, the pressure was on Senne Lammens. We have bought this guy ahead of a World Cup winning goalkeeper. And in one game, bang, first clean sheet of the season. It's a good start. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to make mistakes. This fan base just needs to look at this and go, right, okay, we have bought a keeper. Let's just, what is it, nearly 3 times cheaper than what we did for André Onana. That tells you everything. We're trusting in the recruitment side of things now more than anything. And that's how I look at this. Antonio Conte believes Rasmus Højlund has the potential to become a star. Again, transfer business for Manchester United because of not needing to go out and get another goalkeeper like Emi Martinez, like some reports are saying this morning. Now we're looking at spending that Rasmus Højlund money in the summer on on players that we really need to. And that, I think, is the bigger point and the bigger picture again. We're done with that area of the pitch. We don't need as many centre-backs right now because of the recruitment already that we've done throughout these last couple of transfer windows. We now can fully concentrate on Manchester United actually going out and getting the players we need, like a midfielder, that we desperately need. We talked last night about Jimmy Thwaites coming through into Manchester United's first team training and potentially featuring for the club in the future. We can now move on to the likes of Elliot Anderson and talk about him. So the impact of Lammens is an Elliot Anderson. Now, just to completely, well, not completely, but it's all linked together as always on the show. But to move on to the midfield area now, that's the next conversation I want to have. The Carlos Baleba story, which is floating around, you will see this story in the Daily Mirror. And a couple of other outlets have picked up onto it as well, with Manchester United potentially rethinking moving for Carlos Baleba. Now, I looked at this story, I read through the story. I think it's purely opinion-based. And I think it's just someone looking for a headline. It's not worth really going into too much detail about, because it's there in clear. It's there in clear daylight. Like, you can see the issues that Herzl is having with Carlos Baleba. We talked about this before. Carlos Baleba's form is shocking. Like, 3 times he's been taken off at half-time now. Herzl using the excuse of a yellow card to bring a player off. Temperament is not there. His attitude is probably not fully there either. Red flag, red flag, red flag. And people are jumping onto this now to a point where you've got newspapers making stories off the back of Carlos Baleba now not being a top target for United because he's just not as good as what they thought he was. Have United dodged a bullet? Did United walking away from Carlos Baleba actually prove that they are now sensibly looking at transfers and transfer windows and how they approach them? The scattergun, let's just go out and spend whatever that club wants on a certain player, them days are gone at Manchester United. You look how long it's taken to get certain players through the door because we're haggling, because we're trying to get the best deal. The amount of bitching and moaning within this fan base over the Brian Mbeumo deal. And I said all along throughout that transfer that he will be a United player. We are trying to get the deal that suits us. We're not going to overpay for players. I don't think Manchester United will be joining the £100 million club again now this summer or this January, because Carlos Baleba, I don't think Manchester United will buy. Even if Romano says United will go back for Baleba, even if he is being linked to the football club, again, every single transfer window, I don't think United are going to buy Carlos Baleba, because I think Brighton have a price tag United will not meet. And that, I think, was proven. Like, Brighton didn't even give us a price tag. Brighton didn't even give us an idea of what they want. But the reports are saying Brighton feel that Carlos Baleba isn't worth... Brighton feel Carlos Baleba is worth the Caicedo money. We're seeing nothing in performances for that. By the way, we have got a poll running right now, which we have been running for the last 15 minutes. Please just get involved in that before we change up. Who should start versus Liverpool, Cunha or Mount? Amazing to see that 71% of you so far have picked Mason Mount in this poll. That's big. That is very, very big. And there's a momentum shift at United here with that. Just off topic a bit there, but I'm sorry I did forget about the poll we had running there. We'll just get your thoughts on that poll as well. And give me some feedback here on Carlos Baleba and what we actually need here in midfield. Because the story on Carlos Baleba coincides with news this morning around Team Talk and a story that they have put out in some minor details behind the Elliot Anderson situation. So, Baleba, Anderson, Wharton, we know about these 3 players. 3 of the best young midfielders in the Premier League at the moment. Well, Carlos Baleba, like we've just said, isn't quite there at the moment. But Elliot Anderson and Adam Wharton are 2 players that Manchester United are very, very interested in. In fact, Elliot Anderson from Nottingham Forest is a top target for Manchester United, and they would look to take advantage of the poor form and Nottingham Forest not being involved in Europe again next season. The way it's going for them, they are miles off it, and it's not looking good for Ange Postecoglou. But obviously, that is still quite a bit away, and Nottingham Forest are still playing in Europe and can qualify for the last 16. So, the detail of Elliot Anderson at the moment is it's very unlikely that Manchester United are going to be able to get him from Nottingham Forest this January. This is looking like a future summer transfer target for Manchester United. What many people haven't spoken about, though, and the details have come out on Elliot Anderson, is not many people knew that he'd come from Newcastle. That transfer went completely under the radar. 30+ million. He was brought in 2024. to Nottingham Forest by their recruitment team. Young 20-year-old who was just trying to find his feet in a Newcastle midfield which had Joe Linton and Bruno Guimaraes in it, and was very, very difficult to break through. Nottingham Forest bought him from Newcastle for a £30+ million deal that people were questioning at the time. He has come through and absolutely smashed it last season because they lost certain midfielders, Nottingham Forest. He's taken his opportunity like that, and now he is a mainstay and the main player in Nottingham Forest. But the extra detail in the Elliot Anderson transfer is that Newcastle did not install a buyback option for the Nottingham Forest player. They did not put that in. And so Newcastle don't have a buy option. There is nothing in there within that deal at all. So people are reporting United have got a clear pathway to go and buy Elliot Anderson. I don't quite see it that way, because obviously Elliot Anderson is going to attract attention from all over the Premier League and world football, to be honest. Let's make that clear. He is a top player. But Newcastle with no buyback option, people have made a big deal about. Minor little details again, I know. But one thing we do take from Elliot Anderson is he may be actually ahead of Carlos Baleba right now. Look, we don't know what's going on or being discussed behind the scenes at Manchester United. But Elliot Anderson, I feel right now, if I was to ask you all, Elliot Anderson or Carlos Baleba, which one would you pick? I mean, that right now, I would comfortably feel is Elliot Anderson. That's just my opinion. I'm engaging what the chat has been talking about already on previous shows. 7 games in, and Carlos Baleba in the form that he is in is not good. Elliot Anderson is getting better and better and better. He's 22 years old. Central midfielder who is press resistant, fast of over 10 yards to get away from players, great passing range as well, vision, understanding, reading of the game. Oh man, if that guy was at Manchester United, we would be absolutely lapping it up right now. We would. He is a brilliant one. He's a brilliant player to bring in. Should United pursue Carlos Baleba is our next poll. Still, 56% of you have said yes on this one. We'll keep that one running out. Is Carlos Baleba the right player to go for Manchester United? Pete Ellis says, read somewhere Lammens is hyped up. Baindir had a great game against Arsenal, saving a penalty, and look how that turned out. Can we not just be positive? Lammens looks great and has sparked life back in. I think you ran out of words there to say there, Pete, but thank you for the super chat, mates. Look, can we not just enjoy the moment with Senne Lammens? Look, he's come in. Like I said before, at the top of the show, I was talking Senne Lammens, and every single player that comes into Manchester United or any big club gets that catered lifestyle, luxury hotel, luxury apartments, everything done for them. Nope. I'm looking at the future. I want my house. He's bought his house within 5 weeks of being in Manchester. He knows where he is. He's got his family up. Everything is settled in. He loves his trading. He's working hard. He's doing extra sessions. He wants to be Manchester United's number one. He's coming with that mindset. It's mine. I'm going to prove everybody wrong that's doubting me because United didn't go for Emi Martinez. It's a hard goalkeeper to go up against and be compared to because of what he's done. And for a young 23-year-old to come into Manchester United and just grasp this opportunity the way he has, let's run with the positive. Let's run with that instead of looking at, it's one game, let's just calm ourselves down. I know we've become accustomed to actually feeling negative about Manchester United and looking at the negatives, expecting the negatives. That's where this Man United fan base is. And yes, we have to keep that in mind, and we do have to think that things will go wrong for Senne Lammens. They will. But what I'm looking at here is a man with his head screwed on, already settling in, doing extra and doing everything he can. He's already trying to prove to the players and senior players at Manchester United he belongs. And he is going to make sure that they know that he belongs in between the sticks for Manchester United. And that first performance will go a massively long way. Because let's not forget, This Man United defence that has been completely slaughtered by the media, slaughtered to a point where people were talking at the start of this transfer window that United needed another 2 centre-backs. Man, we've got 7 already. So this defence has been getting a bad rap for everything that's been going on. And trust me on this, and I know I'm in the centre-back union. I used to play there myself. But if I've got someone bellowing behind me, deafening me, because he's controlling his box and organising things like Lammens was at weekend, I seen De Ligt run over and grab hold of Martinez. I seen a leader there who's been everywhere around European football go up to Lammens. I've seen Maguire do the same. The leaders and top centre-backs, everybody, in fact, at this football club leader-wise. But the defenders, I look at the defenders going over to Lammens. They look 20 times better than what they have in previous games under Ruben Amorim, that defence. It's hard going into a system that you are not accustomed to. It's hard to adapt to a system, and we're seeing this with this team. But if you put people in place in them positions that are going to help everybody else get more out of their game in this new system and formation, then they are going to feel confident. He has done a lot in that first game, Senne Lammens, to convince a lot of them Man United players. But the defence, more importantly, it's like, thank God. Like, you're looking behind you and you're going, yeah, 1 game. And you can play it down all you want. But the impact of 1 game and then players knowing that he has got that. Let's not forget, this was a buoyant Sunderland side who didn't get anywhere near Manchester United's box. Senne Lammens had 2 significant saves to make in the whole game. One was a 25-yard thunderbolt, and one was Sunderland pushing forward after Manchester United have lost the ball after our midfield started to tire late on in the 90th minute of the game. Luckily, United had scored goals, but just to have a goalkeeper there that's going to do a basic save and be in the right position to bail out a mistake in this team. Because before, when we made mistakes, they were punished because the keeper just doesn't save anything. You never had confidence that the keeper was going to help you out. Now these players are in there. If they make a mistake and a player runs through on goal, for instance, they've got that little bit of belief that he is going to help them out and he is going to actually give them a little bit more. Every mistake isn't punished anymore. We've got someone who can actually help out at the back. So that again, that is the point. Let's get some more comments in on this, please, everybody, as well. Also, make sure you pop a like on the video, everyone, and I'll make sure that you hit that subscribe button as well. Let's see what we've got in the chat here with this. David says, you can be positive, but I do feel some are just overhyping and it's just putting pressure on every game he now plays going forward. After 5 games, I'll make my decision then. I disagree with that, David. I understand what you're saying, but I completely disagree with it. What pressure are you putting on this player? The pressure is playing for United. He's come straight in a pressure situation in a game that Ruben Amorim was basically, his job was on the line in. And he's come out and he's just calmed everything down. So already the pressure, like he's been able to deal with that. It's not going to get harder than that. 1 game in front of all of the Old Trafford crowd, which, like you're saying there, he's hoping and penning all of their hopes on. And he's come out and had a solid game like that. I think he's handling the pressure. I don't think we're putting any pressure on him. In praising him, I think we're doing more. If he was being negative, that's pressure. If he's seen social media going into meltdown, not convinced by him, that's pressure. But Man United fans have seen basic things being done and they're heaping positives onto him. I feel like that is going to help him going forward. I get what you say, David, I do. And I understand it. I just don't think that this is pressure on him. I think this is what we've needed. We're right behind the player, and if anything, I think he should feel more positive about his game in doing what he's done there. Graham Atkins says, see how Lammens is after 10 games and blow smoke up his ass. Don't care again, Graham. Honestly, again, you can run with that and expect things to go wrong. I'm looking at the whole impact, and again, like people are jumping onto me saying that it's just about the player. It's not. I've been and gone into detail for 20 plus minutes there about the impact of this signing rather than just the player and blowing smoke up his ass. the impact that he's made and the way that Manchester United handled the transfer window is where I'm going with this, the bigger picture. Again, like, people are just so used to the negatives, unfortunately. And I'll make it clear again, like, I don't blame anybody for being cautious about this transfer or cautious about him as a player. I don't. Like, you can be, and that's right. All I'm saying here is, well, we have got a positive. Why not talk about it? Because I think it's proved that this actual structure in place, again, has brought another player in that has helped Manchester United already. And it's clear to see he's helped other players in this team already from that one game. And that's a good impact. That's a positive impact straight away. I'd rather be talking about this than the negative. We should have bought Emi Martinez. After one game, I'm already looking at Martinez and saying, this, I think, is the right decision. And I got it wrong. Let's see if it continues, like you all say. But, of course, I just looked at what Bayindir and Onana did in their first game. And everybody's heart was in their mouth, was it not? That's what I'm comparing it to as well. We shouldn't be paying top dollars for players after one good season in the Prem. Belabor, Branthwaite, etc. At least 2 seasons of good performances minimum. So, if Elliot Anderson backs up his first good season at Nottingham Forest with another one this season like he's already doing, is Elliot Anderson the right type of midfielder to go out and buy? That's from Block there with a super chat. Cheers, Sean, buddy. I look at that and say, yeah, totally with that. I think that players do need to prove it. Belabor has had one good season last season. He had an all right half a season the one before. And this season he started off, he's having a stinker. And everybody's looking at it going, actually, is he the right type of player for Man United? Is he the right man to take us forward? Can we trust in this player to actually give United what they need? That we are spending a lot of money here, and a big part of the budget, if we go with this, is going on Carlos Belabor. So, again, it's all right. Second season syndrome kicking in a little bit here with these players. Adam Wharton, I'm seeing just, good God, that guy. Give me Adam Wharton, honestly. But Elliot Anderson also. I know he was at fault for the penalty. I think Milenkovic actually dropped him right in it for that penalty with a suicide ball there in the box in that game at St James's Park at weekend. First mistake I've really seen him make. But, yeah, that killed the game for Forest. But, to be honest, Forest are absolutely downbeat, trodden on at the moment. Horrendous form. So, yeah, Elliot Anderson and Wharton are ahead of Belabor for me right now. If I'm going to spend, say, for instance, Manchester United have got 80 to 100 million to spend, and maybe on one top midfield target, who would you go for? Honestly, I like Adam Wharton. I do. He's ahead of Belabor for me now. Anderson is one that is really making me think twice about Adam Wharton and the way that he plays. But the calmness that Adam Wharton plays with is something that I've not seen at United since the likes of Michael Carrick. That's the type of player that Wharton reminds me of. That controlling, knowing where to be, never overstretching, reading the game, great passing ability and composure, press resistance. I just think he's got a presence that the others don't quite have yet. And Elliot Anderson is moving up there very, very quickly. Like, I would not have an issue with Elliot Anderson coming into Manchester United at all. They're probably not in Forest fans now looking at this saying, shut up, we don't deserve him. You've probably got a point as well. But still, Belabor is a concern for me. It really is. And Wharton, I think streets ahead of him right now going off this season alone. Look, we can look back at last season and go, whoa, let's not forget what Belabor did. And no, we shouldn't forget what Belabor did last season. But still, I think you've got to look at the likes of Wharton and his consistency going completely under the radar there, just nonchalantly running through games the way that he is. I like that type of player. I do. Honestly, give me a Michael Carrick right now in this team, and this is a different ball game. It's the controlling holding midfielder that United need. That's why we talked about Jimmy Thwaites last night and the player that he is. He has so much of these players in one. And we have got an absolute gem in that lad. Go watch that back from last night as well when this show finishes. Glenn with the super chat says, if Baleba goes to City or Liverpool in January, you know the fans will be livid if he goes on to smash it. If buts and maybes. Can Manchester United afford to guess at the moment, Glenn, is what I would say, though. And yeah, what we're looking at here is Manchester United actually making a decision on a player right now. Like, look what was there before. And they always say class is permanent, form is temporary. I get that. And Carlos Baleba has had more good games than he has bad games. But the warning signs with the pressure side of things, that's what I would look at in this situation. That Brighton are bottom half of the table. They've only had 2 wins this season. Baleba's been brought off 3 times before half-time, at half-time this season already. Disciplinary issues as well with yellow cards, recklessly going into tackles, and that's why Hertzler's had to bring him off because he's scared he's going to get a red card. Where's the temperament at? Look, and again, the poll that's running right now, should United pursue Carlos Baleba? 60% of you are still saying yes. If United go out and get Carlos Baleba for the right price, I'm all right with that. I'm saying if I've got 100 million to spend and I had to choose between them 3 players and spend 100 million on them, because modern day football is modern day football, transfer windows, inflation, and what clubs want for players these days, it's just the way it's going, isn't it? Personally, I don't think any of them are worth 100 million, by the way. Not one of them. But if I was going to spend, let's just round it up. Let's say 80 to 100 million on one of them 3 players, Carlos Baleba is bottom of the pile right now. For me alone, anyway. Just my opinion on that one. And that's just from what I've seen this season as well. I've seen doubts. And I've seen the other 2 play better. And they also did have good seasons the season before, like Baleba did. So if you're judging all of these players, I'm looking at them 2, Elliot Anderson and Adam Wharton, higher up on my priority list than what Carlos Baleba is. 100% at the moment. That's where I'm at with that. Freights and Kone are why I'd go for a solid experienced DM who's a bit older. Don't want to keep putting long-term blockers on the best prospects we have in the academy. I agree. There is a part of that, Andrew, that I could see. And I've mentioned before myself. This is why I said that Manchester United should have been all over that Palhinha loan that Tottenham got. People were laughing at me when I said go and get Palhinha. I said it all along throughout the window. Get Palhinha on loan. Just go and get him on loan. There's no commitment. He's Premier League proven. He's aggressive. He's exactly what Manchester United need right now. And he is smashing it for Spurs. And they are in the Champions League places. That, I think, is the type of move United should have made. It gives you a year with the right player, and then maybe some of the younger prospects come through. They start turning 18, 19, and they're a bit older and a bit more filled out and a bit more experienced. I just don't know why United didn't look to the loan market. There were players there that were there for the taking, and we didn't go. Other clubs got in before us. That's the annoying thing from the window for me, for Manchester United. The loan market was there for a midfielder. We could have gone and got one. And that would have been this season at least more combative, and I feel definitely worthy of saying guaranteed European place. I would have said that. I remember when Ranić told the board to buy Caicedo for 4 million and they refused. King Walker says, we are not in for Adam Wharton. Amorim likes intensity in midfield. Adam can't do that. Yes, he can. He can. I don't know why you would even say that, King Walker. Of course he can. Did you see him against Manchester City in that final? Did you see him against Liverpool? Yes, Adam Wharton can do that. And if Adam Wharton is available for Manchester United, we will be in for Adam Wharton 100%. We will go for him. I agree with you on Paulinho, Adam. Great player, says David. Okay, it's all in the past now, and it's pointless talking about it. But that, again, I feel is something that Manchester United would have been. I think we'd be even better placed right now if we had a Paulinho in our side. I think he plays every game. And he's a completely different player compared to a Ugarte at the moment. I feel Manchester United, if we'd have gone and got Paulinho like Spurs did, we'd have been up where Spurs are right now. You look at them games where United have been completely dismantled. Look, there's a lot of if, buts and maybes for both cases for Manchester United this season. You could say that Manchester United were lucky. If that goal goes in against Sunderland in the first minute from Traore when he has the air shot from 5 yards out, it's all good and well saying that. But you could also argue the point that Manchester United could easily be, at least 4 points better off if you look at the Bruno Fernandes missed penalties. You've got 3 points there in 2 missed penalties. We should have beat Fulham. We score that penalty, it's 2 points. We're into the top 6. If we score that penalty against Brentford, it's 2-2. Manchester get away with it. There's another point that's pushing us towards the top 4. If the goal gets disallowed against Arsenal because of a foul on Bayende, all of these points that people are making, I'm not bothered. Look, we are where we are because we didn't score them penalties. Because we were underperforming in them games. I'm not bothered. I'm just saying, like, there's always an argument for and there's always an argument against. Today, with what we're talking about with Lammens, I feel is an argument for, and people have come up with the against quite rightly. But I'd rather be talking on subjects like this and actually having a good start instead of talking like I'm worried and petrified. Can he get better? We've seen prospects already. We've seen the form from Lammens already. Beforehand, we had Bayende and Onana, where you've seen one game and you're like, I'm not sure already. And that was both of them players. So, yeah, happily going to talk about Lammens in this way going forward. Hopefully it continues. Anyway, don't forget, everybody, as well, we have our match bingo specials. Everybody who has been on this game already, it feels like everybody's winning on this game. It's fantastic. But if you are a new customer, download the Match Bingo app. You can scan that QR code on your screen right now. Drop into the description. The link is there under Match Bingo. Go to the deposit section. You will see deposit as little as £5 and then put in the FUTV promo code. So FUTV, all caps, in that promo code section. That gives you 200% bonus, 200% deposit bonus on all the international games, the women's football, the darts, everything that's going on. There's historical games on there as well, so you can play today. A little as £2 a game. Spend your means, obviously gamble aware, everybody. You have to be a UK resident and 18 above as well to play the game. So please just be careful with that. There are caps on the game as well. Gems herself in the live chat there. I've just pinned her comment in there. Is 600 quid up already on this game. Get onto that link, everybody. Give yourself a chance of winning. Have a laugh with your mates while watching all of these football games coming up. We are going to be doing a Liverpool special when we come back from international break as well. So get in there, get used to the game, play the game. Thank you again for Match Bingo for being our match day sponsors. But we are covering every single aspect of the international break and all the other sports on there as well now. So, yeah, get on there, get your cards now and get playing and being with a chance of winning big money like lots of us already have done in the chat there. Right, everybody, that is our show this morning. Thank you so much, mods. Great job in the chat as always. Super chats, thank you. And, of course, all you new subscribers and people joining in. There are a lot of you that aren't subscribed to the channel that are watching. Thank you for watching the channel. But please hit that subscribe button and join this journey with us here on Forever United TV. At least 50% of you are actually watching are not subscribed. Do it. It's free and it's the most important part about growing and the journey that we're on here on FUTV. So jump on it with us and hit that subscribe button, everybody. I'll see you with all of the updates as the day goes on. Enjoy your Tuesday, everybody. Hope you have a good one. I will speak to you in a bit.